everybody, welcome back. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about today. Today was super busy, but you know what? Today felt like fall still. I did all these errands today. Sorry, you're getting a little day in the life as well. I did all these errands today to just because I'm a mom and my kids come to my house next week. We have 50-50, so just to prepare myself and to pay some bills and to get the house ready. If you've seen other live streams I've done, there was a whole live stream about my frustration that my children, like their entire school wardrobe has disappeared. We have no idea where it is. Like, no idea where it is. An entire school uniform wardrobe. So I was replacing that. I went to Target. I should just leave it at that. I went to Target. And I saw something. I just got so excited when I walked into Target. And it was beyond my usual level of Target excitement. It was going in and all the fall stuff was on display. There was Halloween and there was fun fragrances and pumpkin spice everywhere. It's just everything was fall and I could feel myself just turning into a little kid and be like, it's fall. And I had to really control myself. I wanted to buy all the things. I wanted to buy Halloween decorations. I don't need that. But I wanted it so bad. And so I allowed myself to I compromised. I actually purchased something called Autumn Cuddle. It's a plug-in or fragrance. And I'm thinking I'm kind of embarrassed that I bought it, but I'm really excited to get my Autumn Cuddle. So, yeah, just a busy day of getting errands done, running lines. I'm going to attempt to be social later tonight because I've just been working so hard with marketing and live streaming and working my lines. So I'm going to attempt to go out and be social tonight. Sorry about my bra straps. I really want to wear this shirt today, but I'll change it before I be social. Okay, so now down to business. If you've listened to that, you can be rewarded by hearing about mindset talk. So I'm still reading this book, The Path of Least Resistance by Robert Fritz. And I love it so much. I love this book, and it's definitely going to be one that I reference a lot, and I'll probably reread it even further. So there are a few books in my library when it comes to creativity and mindset that are real solid that I go back to over and over and over again. And that could be another live stream, but yeah, there's only a handful of books. So I'm like, yeah, that book is something amazing. I usually try to pick up a little something in everyone, but once in a while I'll come up with one that's like, wow, yeah, it's mind blowing. So something he talks about in The Path of Least Resistance that really it really hit home today, especially, was the concept of 3 different types of choices you make to have the life that you want. You can make primary and secondary choices, which are usually what most of the choices that we go through on a day-to-day basis. But you also need to make a fundamental choice. Now, I won't go into the nitty-gritty. The book is very cerebral, I tell people, but it's so worth it. So I won't go into every part of it. It's just how I'm interpreting it. In acting, we would call that the through line. In other words, every time you pick up a character, every scene, the character has things that they want to get done. So there's something that the character wants done in that scene. There is their objective. And how they go about getting that objective are their strategies. So the primary choice would be the objective for the scene, and the secondary choices would be the strategies, like how they're going to go about getting it. They can connive, they can manipulate, they can beg, they can flirt. There's all sorts of strategies on how we get what we want. But the through line, or the super objective, is the overarching goal for the character, for the entire play, and for that character's existence as we know it. Because we really only know for the play, maybe in terms of the historical research that will do, but really we're looking at the life of the character within the play. So there is a super objective, and that would be the fundamental choice. So the fundamental choice is your big objective throughout. Like, what do you want ultimately for your life? So it's really, really huge. And the book argues most of us just make primary and secondary choices, and we might have some success. We might have limited success. We might succeed and then kind of backslide a little bit, or, stumble. And that's because we haven't really identified and defined our fundamental choice. And when you come up with your fundamental choice, the primary choices support that, like what you want in each moment to moment, and the secondary choices also support that. And how that works with mindset is, once again, mindset's energy. It's all about energy work and vibrations, and whatever you're thinking about and putting out there is what's going to come back to you. So if you take the time to focus your mindset on your fundamental choice, what you want throughout, then everything else will make sense, and those other choices will start to present themselves to you, be attracted to you. The next steps will come very easily, all because you're really looking at your fundamental choice. Now, you can use mindset for primary and secondary choices. You can use mindset for anything, because remember, energy is energy. It doesn't really quantify if it's positive or negative. We put that on there. It just flows. It flows where it flows, and if that's what you want, that's what you want. Like, if that's what you're going for, and we accept the consequences therefore. So if you're focusing everything on this fundamental choice, you will see a change in your life. You will transcend every aspect of your life. As I've said before, once you start thinking in terms of mindset and making those changes, it doesn't just affect one area that you're focused on. It doesn't just affect like, oh, I really want to make this painting, or I really want to sell some stuff. It will start to affect every aspect of your life, because every aspect of your life is needed to create that fundamental choice that you're going for, versus just very short-term successes. And without that, you might have a short-term success, and then later on, either you self-sabotage it, or you lose it all, or you're not sure what to do next because things have changed and you get very frustrated. So, what this reminded me of today. So today I was just thinking, as I was running around paying my bills, I had some clients submit their invoices, which is always a happy day when we actually get the client checks in. And I was going around just getting stuff done, paying bills, paying what I owed people, other entrepreneurs that have done service for me so I can pay them. And I was thinking, gosh, I love paying bills. I used to not love paying bills. It used to really stress me out. Now when I pay a bill, it brings me so much joy, because if I'm paying it, that means I have the money to pay it. And if I have the money right now, I know full out I have the money because I earned it through something I wanted to do and I enjoy doing. Because every way I make money, and I have a lot of different businesses out there, every way, and they all support each other, but they're all things that I'm good at and I enjoy doing, and make me feel good and push me through. So that's just knowing that if I'm paying a bill, it's because it's money that I earned doing something joyful. And that's a great feeling. That's a really great feeling. And I was driving through, and as I do my meditation, I'm constantly doing mindset work and meditation work, just checking in with myself, like, how am I feeling? What's going on with me right now? And I had this thought of what would it have been like if I had stayed in that old life, if I had stayed in that marriage, if I had stayed at that job, if I had stayed just in that entire existence of the person that I used to be. What if I had stayed there? And instead of just like brushing it off, which I would have done in the past, I don't brush things off anymore. I just explore it and I dig into it. I'm like, okay, well, you're thinking this for a reason, so let's play with it. And I had this fleeting moment, the feeling of, I don't want to call it sadness, and it's somewhere between sadness and not quite regret. Somewhere in that zone of everything mixed together. Because really, the critical part of me is like, well, really, was it so bad? Was so bad? You could have stayed in that life. And I start thinking about the life that I once had. And yeah, some things were easier. I could always pay my bills because I made a lot more money. I was living in a really big house, and everyone looked at me as though, people admired me, and we were the textbook relationship. I had a textbook life, and everyone was so impressed by all of that. They had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. It's just the outward image was pretty perfect. And that's what I was going for. That was my goal, was to create this perfect life, because I had no idea what else could be out there. So since that's all I saw and that's all I knew to be successful and to have a happy life, that's what I created with my mindset, with everything else, not even knowing that's what I was doing. And yeah, it was easy in a sense. And that's what I thought about today. It was easy. If I just agreed, here's the contract to make it so. If I just agreed with everything my partner said, no matter what, if I just agreed with it and went along with it, even if it made me uncomfortable, even if it wasn't what I wanted to do, even if I hated it, even if it was totally not me, no matter what, as long as he got his yes, everything would be fine. As long as he was comfortable and he got his yes and I agreed with him on all points, everything will be fine. That was my cost for admission. And as I was thinking about today, it's like, well, was it so bad? Was it so bad? And most of the time, I don't even want to say most of the time. Yeah, sometimes it was fine. You just go along with it and you agree. But at some point, and when I started having my awakening and when I started going to therapy, because I knew something was wrong, I was just so miserable all the time. My anxiety was high all the time. And at work, my stress levels were over the top all the time. Because I use those same tactics at work. As long as I say yes, then I will be fine. And as long as I keep this job, because my partner wanted me to be there because it added to the picture, I had to say yes. So I had to make it work. No matter what. Even if people are yelling at me and calling me stupid. You guys, it was such a stressful job. But as I was thinking about it, no, because it wasn't hard per se. Because if you put your mind to it, you can keep quiet about just about anything. You can suck it up and relinquish control and just shut off parts of yourself. Human mind is amazing. So yeah, I could have gone that path. But as I was starting to ask questions and awaken and open myself up and invite a higher version to come in, what I discovered is I was crafting a fundamental choice at that early stages. That's not what I would have called it, but that's really what I was doing. I was crafting this vision and this fundamental choice of what do I want throughout? Like, what is all this for? And what I wanted was to be the predominant source of creativity in my own life. To have that sense of self and to be able to say, I'm creating this life. I'm not just doing it because someone told me to do it. I'm not just going through the motions because that's what I think everyone wants and will make everybody else happy. I'm making choices that affect me, and I'm the predominant source of creativity going on in my life. And all the choices I make support that therein. And also looking at, I wanted to live my fullest self. I want to be able to take the time to become the highest and best version of myself. And I knew that I wasn't going to get there from where I was on that journey. There was no way. You can't get there if the only thing you're focused on is saying yes and agreeing with somebody else. Because then it's not you. It's everything is shaped as compared to that other person or that other thing. Everything. And so if you're not focusing on, okay, what am I putting out there? What am I thinking about and putting out there? And what energy am I putting forth in the world? Then you're never going to be in control of your own destiny. There's no way you can be. How can you? And so your creativity will suffer, because if you put your creativity in the hands of somebody else, then how can you be creative? You're waiting for them to do everything. You're hoping for them to be creative, and really you're just a vessel for their wishes. So that's what I was doing, is creating that fundamental choice, because really that's what I wanted. I wanted to do more of the things that made me feel alive. I wanted to create more. I wanted to be out in the world doing something different and better that honored my highest self, and I wasn't doing any of it. The closest I got to was being a mom, because for me, being a mom was a really big deal. Now, I want to put, because someone pointed this out to me, when I talk about being a mother, I am not saying being a mother is the end-all, beat-all for every woman, and I'm not saying being a father is the end-all, beat-all for every man. It's my personal choice. I really wanted to do that, but I think I told a friend, being a parent is an acquired taste. Like, I really don't think people who aren't interested in doing it and who aren't interested in that level of just time and effort and self-sacrifice and indulgence, it's okay to not do it. It's okay. If that's not your calling, don't do it. It personally was my calling, which people are still surprised about. But yeah, it was my personal calling. But I think people do more harm by forcing themselves to live up to somebody else's ideals and plans for them versus following their own path. So that was the closest that I got to, because it was something that I really wanted and I really pushed for. And then it happened, and I was like, and this is here, and it changed my life, and it's amazing. I have 2 amazing kids that call me mom, so I'm very, very blessed in that aspect. And moms, there are some days I'm like, children, please stop being so crazy. But I say that with a grain of salt, but really they are the best things. So the fundamental choice affects your mindset, because if you create a real fundamental choice, you focus your entire mindset, all of your energy, all of your vibrations, all of your choices support this one fundamental choice. And then things become a lot smoother. Suddenly it becomes really clear what path to take. Suddenly making those secondary choices on a day-to-day basis don't seem so bad, because you know you're serving a greater choice. And it does change your life, because once I committed to that higher choice, which is very noble, and that's what I want. I mean, to be the predominant creator in my life, yeah, that's amazing. To make choices that work for me based on who I am and who I was created to be, yeah, that's amazing. But therefore, all the other choices kind of fell by the wayside. They didn't support it. So I either had to change the fundamental choice or change how I was living. And as you can guess by the book Path of Least Resistance, that tension was not going to fly. So it made a lot more sense to change the choices. So as I was sitting in the car thinking, is it all worth it? Was all of this worth it? Because, it was so much easier. I didn't have to worry about this or that, and I didn't have to worry so much about how I was going to pay the bills and hustle, and I didn't have to do all the marketing and calling and all the things that you do as an entrepreneur. And then I hit myself back with, yeah, but you weren't fulfilling your fundamental choice. And you would have gone along the same way, but that feeling of just feeling lost and feeling empty and feeling like there's so much more that I'm not doing that I want to be doing. And that's a different type of sadness and regret that comes into play. And so I realize it's not about it being easy. It is easy. It's easy because you don't have to try so hard and put on that happy face and like force your way through it. But as you're shifting life, it only is hard because I had a vision of what it should be. If I didn't have that vision, if you as a creative entrepreneur, if you didn't have that vision that you can't make money, you can't be successful, you can't have this great career because, you're a creative person and really you're out here to starve. If you didn't have that, then the things you would do wouldn't feel hard. You would just do them. You would just go ahead and do them. And that's what hit me today. So the only reason it feels heavy and hard and difficult and I feel like I'm dragging my way through sometimes is because sometimes I had this whole idea of how it should be. Once I let that go, it's fine. Once I let it go and I said, well, this is my life. And I look at the reality is, I pay my bills. I pay what I owe. I go out. I grocery shop. I put gas in my car. I budget. I move things around to make it work. But it's happening, and it's getting done. Is it getting done in a different way than when I worked for a big financial corporation? Yeah. Do I get to do what I love? Yeah. Honestly, I do. Even on my worst days being a creative entrepreneur are better than the best days making PowerPoint presentations and getting yelled at. Because I still make PowerPoint presentations for my classes because I'm really good at it. But at least I'm not getting yelled at over some silly thing that really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, like someone's binder. So that's kind of what I'm looking at today. That's what I want to talk about. So think of your fundamental choice. Is it to be healthy? Is it to be the predominant creator of your life? Is it to have a certain level of success? What is your fundamental choice? And it's got to be something big that is a through line throughout everything you do. And from there, you'll be able to come up with your primary choice, like your main objective, how you're going to get that done. And then your secondary choices from day to day, like, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this, I am going to do this, and here's my goal, and blah, blah, blah. And those are your tactics on how to get there. And if you're interested in the book, I love this book. I really do. Path of Least Resistance by Robert Fritz. And yeah, I'm adding it to my lesson plans, but I highly recommend you give it a good read. So hope that helped. And do you have any questions or comments or concerns, or you just want to say, hey, what's going on with your hair today or whatever? And what is going on with that? I'm doing a twist out, so in about a day or two it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and that's my favorite. All right, so I'm going to finish up. I'm going to work on some more lines so I can actually be social for a little bit and get on with the rest of the weekend. So I hope your weekend is going great, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Take care. Bye.